says here, high risk industries, because we're at the bank now, right? And so now that we're at the bank, they want to know what industry we're in. Now, the way that I'm gonna break it down for you guys here is a little bit different from how you've maybe usually heard it, right? Because a lot of people out there, they're talking about high risk industries, but they don't really understand the concept behind it. You're being bucketed. And without getting too deep into the way that you're being bucketed, just like a 30,000 foot overview so that we can actually capture what's happening, is when you're being bucketed, if you're in the wrong industry, you're getting averaged. Meaning, if you are being bucketed in a real estate land development, even though that's high risk, real estate land development, the way that the earnings work there is totally different versus if you were maybe selling a course or doing content on real estate as your main source, not just the actual land development. Something to keep in mind here, right? And so the way that it's going to be bucketed with real estate land development, the averages that they're going to run based off of, let's say, the top 100 or top 1,000 survey samples that they have for that entity, and then they average out what the top earners make versus what the bottom earners make, and then where your business stands in maybe year 1, year 2. That's how you start seeing a lot of people start getting bumped out of funding. And they're like, wait a minute, dude, I thought I was killing it. Like, what the heck is going on? And what's happening is you're getting bucketed against whales, or you're getting bucketed in an industry that has a likelihood or more likelihood of defaulting. One of the questions that I typically get from my clients, especially those that are in trucking typically gets listed as a high risk industry. I think we've all heard that at this point. If you haven't heard that, maybe this is your first time hearing that. My clients tell me, Irv, that's honest work. It is honest work, but the margins on it are also a lot tighter versus somebody who's maybe in the education space labeled as a consultant. You have 80% margin versus maybe a 25, 30% margin. And so when the bank sees that, they're like, wait a minute, they're 2 repairs away from going out of business. Or they're 1 repair away based off of all the data that we ran, because we know how expensive truck parts can be or heavy equipment parts can be. They're 2, 3 repairs away from using up 80% of this credit limit that we're about to give them. And that's when you start seeing some of the discrepancy between what you should be getting or what you can be getting and what you're not getting. And so with that said, high risk industry types, I have a couple listed here, right? I tried to keep some of them within the means of how we may be in terms of our company, right? In this group. I'm not too sure if too many of us in this call, or if you're listening to the recording, you're in the adult industry, you're in the gambling or the casino industry, kind of like Rad is, right? He's in the gambling and the casino industry. He's in Vegas, so he runs the floor out there. He showed me a couple of loopholes out there. I'm not sure if you guys are in the liquor or the tobacco or the cannabis shop industry, right? That comes up quite a bit. Dry cleaners, auto rentals, and I'm gonna show you guys kind of like a bypass on auto rentals, because that is, and when I say auto rentals, I mean the Turos of the world, because you are starting to see that industry get squeezed a little bit more. Trucking, I have up there. Those are considered high risk industries, right? I could have put up here real estate, which I do have in construction as kind of like a sidebar as well. I also would have put up here, for those of us that are in credit repair, for those of us that are in financial services, you sell life insurance. If you sell life insurance, health insurance, if you sell any type of education specifically for like crypto or financial markets, that would be on here. And so some low risk alternatives, if you're taking screenshots, this is probably the screenshot that you want to take. General management for construction, real estate, and auto rentals. Property management for fix and flips, Airbnbs, and construction. Consulting services for agency owners and financial services. And I would have also included marketing in there, by the way. Because marketing sometimes is hit or miss. General business services, NEC means not elsewhere classified, just about any service. So if you're kind of like up in the air, well, you know, Irv mentioned, because this is the other thing that I wanted to kind of clear the air on, is, well, Irv mentioned, or I've seen on a bunch of different calls, or not this one, but maybe pieces of content, whether it's on YouTube, just put consulting. We hear that all the time, right? I'm not a big fan of that advice. I'm not a big fan of the advice of just put consulting, because it doesn't sit well with me. I can't look someone in the face and tell them, dude, you're driving a truck for 12 hours. I know this because my dad was a truck driver. My dad wasn't talking to anybody. My dad wasn't consulting anybody. My dad was putting food on the table for us growing up. My dad did trucking from the minute that I was 6 years old to the day that he retired, right? And he still kind of drives trucks just for the heck of it, because I can't get that man to sit down. So I know the trucking space pretty well. And the reason why I say that is because I can't look a trucker in the face, because I feel like I'm looking my dad in the face and telling him, hey, just put just put consulting so that you can get approved for a business line of credit, where they take a deeper look, and God forbid they'd want to see the actual way of the business model, the way that it works. Hey, how many clients do you have? Hey, what's your KPIs? Like whatever it is, they can't answer those questions. Why would I want to set someone up to fail? And I say all that to say, and I'm very passionate about it, because I like sidestepping places legally, but I don't like sidestepping places fraudulently, because I see that a lot in this space. And so if in doubt, general business services, NEC, not elsewhere classified. That's typically going to be a nice spot for you if maybe you don't fit into one of these. General management is good, but consulting, I think that's we're beating a dead horse with that. If I'm just being honest with you guys, for my content creators, you're good. For my agency owners, like you're good. You're actually consulting. You're actually in front of clients. But for those of us that are out there in the field, and you know who I'm talking about, it's just you by yourself. You're gonna want to sit with either general management or general business services, NEC. Electronic shopping, for those of us that are e-com, electronic shopping and mail orders to houses. That's for online stores, online retail, and then logistics would be the other route that you can take. The reason why I don't give you logistics as the top one to put for your business as the NAICS code is because you'll find out when we go into it's either week 2 or week 3 when we're breaking down the way that you want to classify it over with Dun & Bradstreet. Over at Dun & Bradstreet, they don't actually have a classification for logistics. So if you get off this call and now you're okay, Irv said do logistics and I should be good, and now you're setting it up, you're excited, and you hit Dun & Bradstreet and you're trying to set up your profile, you don't see it, you're like, what's going on? That's why. But what you will see is general business services, not elsewhere classified. It took me a while to figure that out with just a lot of data that we've been running. But these are essentially some of the best low risk alternatives that we're seeing in 2023. If this changes for whatever reason, I'll update Rad or he'll bring me on another call. I'm losing my pen over here because I'm getting so passionate with this. All the baloney that's in the space. Low risk NAICS codes. So we have 554611, which is general management and consulting. And then we have 454100, which is for e-com. Those are typically the ones for most of us that are on this call that you're going to be able to write off of right there. That's going to be a good look for you. And then most likely in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to show you exactly how to find that inside of the banks as you're filling out applications, because that's like a part that people like to leave out is, okay, wait a minute, but how do I actually find that inside the applications? Because especially if you're doing a funding sequence, you'll realize that a business application for Chase looks totally different from Bank of America, and Bank of America looks totally different from like a US bank. So we're going to be breaking that down.